The Supreme Court of Nigeria today upheld the declaration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a duly elected president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, thereby ending the legal battle instituted by the People's Democratic Party candidate Atiku Abubakar and his Labour Party counterpart Peter Obi. In a unanimous judgment, the seven-man panel headed by Justice John Okoro dismissed the appeal of Atiku Abubakar, predicated on 7 grounds for lacking in merit. Justice Okoro resolved all the 7 issues brought for determination by appellant in favor of the respondents. Similarly, the Apex Court also dismissed the appeal of Peter Obi and Labour Party. The court also affirmed the decision of the court below on alleged double nomination of the Vice President, Kashim Shettima. It maintained that the court had earlier decided the issue of double nomination of the Vice President in the case of Allied People's Movement, APM. Since after the affirmation by the Supreme Court, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu had extended an olive branch to his major contenders, urging them to join hands and develop Nigeria. Lots of people have also commended the judgment, describing it as another milestone. Now, what actually does the judgment portend for Nigeria's democracy? What changes will this bring to our economy? These are pertinent questions as we discuss the victory on Nigeria today. I am your carrier, Clinton, and you're welcome. Joining me in the studio to discuss the Supreme Court judgment on 2023 presidential election is Olumide Okungade, a legal consultant and the convener, the Director General, Asiwaju Petro Diaspora in Nigeria, an APC faithful involving in humanitarian services and community enhancer. It's a pleasure to have you in Nigeria today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
Now, Olumide, the entire legal battle, tussle, it's over now. Yeah. And now we have the judgment of the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
Everybody was waiting for this. Now, what do you make of this judgment?
First of all, congratulations, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And most importantly, congratulations, Nigerians. For a nation, it's important that, all hands should be on deck. Judgments like this is kind of a kind of instability. Policies cannot be well driven. We don't know the next direction of government. So it's very important that there's an end to this, and the real concept of governance comes to play. So basically, with the antecedents of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we expect more. We expect the real game to start now.
Okay, now looking at some of the issues that was raised, now what actually does the Supreme Court, mean when they say that an issue is status barred, as in the case of the position brought by Atiku Abubakar for determination?
All right. So if you look at the Chicago State University matter, there is an angle to it in the sense that, one, you can say they are bringing a fresh application. They are bringing a fresh evidence. Now, the Supreme Court, looking at Section 22 of the Supreme Court Act, the options were like, should it be referred back to the lower court? They're out of time there. That is one. There's another angle to it. All right, so the matter was taken to United States of America. The other parties that were meant to be part of that were actually part of the initial action at the presidential election petition court. I'm talking of the lawyer to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the lawyer to INEC, and the lawyer to APC. They were not part of that matter in America. So is it more like you're bringing a surprise, you're bringing a judgment on them, which they were not part of? That is one. And again, every matter that, the court must admit, has it been authenticated? So you just bring a matter from America and you want the Supreme Court to just admit it. It has not been, and you know that before the matters before Supreme Court are not fresh matters. They are from the lower court. They're just looking at, the parties are just being given the opportunity to now, appeal and see whether the stance can be changed. But, not that a fresh matters will now be brought before Supreme Court.
Okay. So another important question I'd love to, want you to clarify is the position of the law on the evidence of a third party in a matter.
So evidence of the third party, are you talking of the Chicago State University?
No, not really that. Talking about what the court referred to as a hearsay, not bringing the people, like we're talking about people that were at the polling unit, polling agents, not bringing the polling agents to be the witness, but somebody that witnessed, that wasn't really the polling agent.
So I can give you the instance of Kogi State. So in Kogi State there were like 3,000 polling units. All right, the witness from Kogi State said he was the agent for 20 units of 3,000 polling units. And one of the justices was like, so were you able to go from one polling unit to the other to be able to get? That was not a viable or evidence to be admitted by the court. It must be substantial enough. That wasn't substantial enough, so it was not admissible. So, I mean, if you want to bring an evidence before the court, there were agents representing either PDP, Labour Party, APC at all the units. Now, it's 20 compared to 3,000. It wasn't substantial enough. So it was not admissible. The court find it so unviable to be admitted, to admit that witness, to admit the evidence of that witness in Kogi State. And so that's more like the instances of all the states. If you look at Lagos State as well, there were concerns about discrepancies during the election period. But when you look at the discrepancies compared to the number of polling units in Lagos State, and we're talking of just discrepancies, election malpractices and all that happening just in a particular polling unit or particular area. Let's say Etiosa local government. So you've left Ikorodu, you've left Agege, you've left all these areas where there are lots of polling units and elections are being seen to be well carried out. At the end of the day, it will be hard for the court to really admit those evidences.
No, the reason why I'm asking this so that people will really understand, the intricacies of, the law, because people tend to give their own verdict in social media and all of that, but the real thing, the real thing must be followed. The law must be followed. Okay, and you have to, prove your case beyond every reasonable doubt. There is a kind of twist to this election, or let me say, to the judgment. First, Nigerians were so interested. They want to know what the outcome. But I think along the line, I wouldn't know whether we got carried away
to think that our judicial institutions should be neglected or should be overlooked. And we started concentrating on social media. I don't know whether we feel it will be a kind of succor to us, that we can hear our voice there, or we can hear our opinion there. That's why we now find it so always receiving, that we feel all opinions should be heard, even a matter that is in front of the judge. We are bringing up so many opinions just to, is it to kind of put a check on the judge, on the justices. This is not really helping the judicial system at all.
Okay, now what can you say to those from the other divide? They are saying they're alarmed, they're disappointed about the judgment. What do you have to tell them in this in this case?
All right, the issue we should first look at is now the emotions. Let's look at what are the tenets, the lay down rules, the lay down laws. Were these followed? So, because if we want to follow emotions, if we want to say a particular party is not happy, so what if we twist to the other side? What if it's it's in their favor, another particular party will not be happy? But let's establish what the law says regarding electoral practices. Must it be substantial enough before you can really say, before the court will not be in your favor? Before the court will not say, okay, your matters are actionable and you're justified. Where there are instances, real instances, what does the law say about age? What does the law say about, if the election has not been really found to be well carried out, whether there are fraudulent acts? So these are the issues. If we keep following what anybody says or what the people feels, we can't rule a system by emotions. It must still by the law. It's a democratic system, so it must still by the law.
Now talking, I just want to ask you this now, as a legal practitioner. Now, what would the other parties involved in this case have done differently?
All right. What would they have done differently? All right. So, for the petitioner, in my opinion, it was not enough for a petitioner to bring witnesses that were not substantial enough. One of the petitioners, I don't want to mention him, one of the petitioners, I think in a state, brought, 13 witnesses. 10 of the witnesses were not admissible by the court, making 3, a whole state. I mean, we know the result even before the judge. The judge will give judgments. I mean, in our mind, let's say. So, I mean, if a petitioner is raising issues, before the court, there must be substantial. Look at the recent judgments in Kano State. APC brought substantial witnesses. I'm not prejudging the outcome of the appeal, but there were substantial witnesses. I just mentioned 3,000 polling units. Somebody brought 20, an agent was giving opinion to court on 20 polling units.
Okay, now we are certain of the victor.
Yeah.
Okay, what next? For the nation.
For the nation.
The economy.
Personally, I am optimistic. I believe the best is yet to come out of this government. They're just settling. We can see what some of the policies, some of the ministers are already, pushing out there, and Nigerians are already appreciating it. But most importantly, you will agree with me that we are all human. So President Tinubu cannot say he has been, at peace all this. Why this matter? It can fall to any side. We all want to respect the opinions of the court. But now that we know the outcome, personally, I believe that all hands should be on deck now. The real essence of governance should just take place. And although some of the appointments are still going on, but the major, ministers, the key positions are there already. CBN, all that, they are there already. So I think Nigerians should expect the best now. Our outlook, if you look at our outlook internationally, it's been welcoming. And outlook internationally just don't become welcoming just like that. It must be that your policies, not to satisfy international, relations and all that. It must be that your policies are already in tune with what will drive your economy. And that's how to run the economy. So President Tinubu, from henceforth should just take the steering and, drive the economy the right way. And he's got every support now. All hands are on deck now. Nigerians are willing to, they are supporting him. They are giving him, is the right word to push on.
And you as a person, as an individual, in your opinion, what would you love to see, say, in the next 1 year in this administration?
In this administration, the economy is pivotal to me, and security. I'm keen about security and economy. So we have a situation whereby people cannot move interstate. And maybe we can say, there are efforts already on ground, but there should be more efforts. There should be security. People should be able to do their business anywhere. People should be able to travel, move interstate. These are signals for international community. Investors, that is one. And the recent one, the foreign exchange is going up. So, and there are snippets of policies to calm this down. So these are policies or, structures that will encourage government collaborations. Private sector will be willing to, collaborate with government. Investors will feel confident that, okay, when the forex is good, foreigners, investors can come in and be part of and invest here. When there's security, there's no fear. People can actually invest anywhere. So these are, for me, the economy security is most pivotal. And again, that's the essence and the primary aim of any government. Security is very important. That is the essence of any government. Security is most important.
Now, also looking at the judgment, given this judgment, how would the judgment affect our image? Talking about international image, because people are watching. Other countries, other African countries are watching Nigeria, being the giant of Africa, and of course, Nigeria.
Yeah. So we are in the right direction anyway, because if you look at some of the trips President Tinubu has made recently, you will realize that anywhere he goes, he's been welcomed, and that says a lot. That says a lot. He went to India. He went to he's been welcomed. The stability of a nation drives the economy. Drives. The policies the government makes attract investors. And when there is massive employment for youths, the economy is moving in the right direction. So the Supreme Court issues is behind us now. Driving the economy, stability. Again, I restate, driving the economy, stability is the most important thing. And I believe that the government is on the right track for this.
Now, looking at the Nigerian economy, looking at this particular Supreme Court judgment and our democracy, where would you say we are in a democratic journey?
So, in my opinion, and don't let us judge our stage by the standard of any other country. This is Nigeria. We have our culture. We have our history. No nation can actually say they're there. Every nation has got their journey. But let's look at the indices for growth. Let's look at the indices to. Let's look at, the per capita. Our citizens being fed. Let's look inward. Let's look at how to drive our economy. Not just saying what is the standard in Nigeria compared to Western world. We have our economy, we have our culture. I like your outfit.
Thank you.
Our culture. So it's not when we put on, it's not when we try. I'm just saying, it's not when we try to do things according to Western standard. That is when we've reached there, or we are a nation. Let's keep on this track to get to where we are meant to be. And what is that? To be a nation that the ratings are high, a nation where the per capita, is brilliant, a nation where there's accountability, a nation whereby the citizens have jobs. They can fend for themselves. They can, families are not, begging for food. I think that should be the indices. Let's look inward and make sure that we're driving this country in the right direction.
And what is your hope for the youth? Because I look at you, you're a very young man, and of course,
if you personally, I'm happy with if you look at the appointments into Tinubu's government. He was promising, we're going to get in more youths in the government that time during the campaign, and it looks like, is it true? Is he going to do it? But look at it now. Look at the ministers. Communication. I can keep county power. So the president has already pulled his mouth where, how they say that. He has already given his word and he's followed it up. So I'm positive that the youth will continue to have a good number in this government. And that is not just, what has been said, but it's been practicalized. But is another thing when people just clamor for youth. Are we ready? And when we are given the chance, are we living up to it?
Are you ready?
I'm ready. But it's beyond youth. I think it's more of qualification for me. I don't think it's about age. It's about, are you qualified? Do you tick the boxes? Then prove yourself. It's not about youth because you are young, because you have energy. An unbridled horse goes astray. So it's about who is qualified and who can bring out the change, who can bring about the change we want in our system, in our society, or in our country.
And one final question: what would be your message to Nigerians now that everything, who seem to pass all the hurdles? All the legal hurdles, the Supreme Court has given the judgment, we are now sure. So what would be your message to Nigerians?
On a final note, for me, Nigeria, let's believe in ourselves. Let's patronize ourselves. Let's support our country. Everybody wants to travel. Personally, I'm not against it. But this is our country. Wish well for Nigeria. try to do your best wherever you find yourself. If you want to travel out to get the exposure, it's good. To study abroad or to study here, but don't wish Nigeria bad. This is our country. Let's work together to make Nigeria a better country.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And that wraps up tonight's episode of Nigeria Today. A very big thank you to Olumide Okungade, a legal consultant, and the convener and director general, Ashiwaju Patriots Diaspora Nigeria. Thank you so much
It's a pleasure
for coming on the program
and
sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for being a part of the program. Don't forget, Nigeria Today airs weekday at 7:30 p.m. on NTA News 24. You can also watch these and other episodes on www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. Once again, thank you for watching. I am Ikaria Clinton. See you tomorrow.